the father figure gets home and the first thing he does is, instead of saying Dumelang or good morning, it's a punch in the face.
If you grow up in an abusive environment, what happens is, it depends on how you interpret it.
Ultimately, violence is not just about the physical, it's just generally about the feeling of unsafety.
Most of the time, people don't really know the views that Botswana have that affect gender-based violence, cultural and social conflicts, economic violence. Who are the most vulnerable?
We come from a very patriarchal society
Economic
where
abuse.
men dominate women.
Gender-based violence does not only happen to women. Ignorance gives rise to gender-based violence.
Most of the time, people don't really know the law. Who are the most vulnerable groups?
Domestic violence is any kind of violence that happens within the family setting.
Domestic violence is basically a violence that occurs within a particular setting, within the home, violence within relationships.
It doesn't matter. It could be sexual, it could be physical, it could be economical, it could be psychological. That is what it would entail.
When organizations like Mpho started fighting for those laws that discriminated against women, one of them, the laws, stated that a man could chastise the wife physically with a stick. They gave the dimensions of the sticks, the size of the stick. It was ingrained in the law. It was etched in the law. So it was legal to do that. You could beat your wife up.
Social norms and myths of today, women are supposed to be beaten, for example, or women are children in the house, and the way I treat my daughter would be the way I treat my wife because she's a child after all.
I remember when I used to work as a counselor with one of the shelters in Botswana. You'll be talking to a woman in a different culture and they'll say to you, I'm here because my husband doesn't love me anymore. And you say, why? Why do you say your husband doesn't love you? He says, well, he beats his girlfriend every single day. And he stays over at the girlfriend's house the whole month.
Take, for example, if we have a plant here, a young plant. And it's growing and for some reason it starts wilting or bending towards a particular direction. And we leave it to grow in that particular direction, right? And it becomes very strong. It means that it's going to be very problematic to change aspects when people are grown up. If you abuse a child, in essence, you are molding a child in a particular way. Okay. So if a child is abused, they can become abusers when they grow up. They can feel that abuse is part of love. So if I'm in a relationship later in life and my husband or my wife does not abuse me, then they don't love me.
Perpetrators condition your brain in such a way that they are your God. They are your everything. And they conditioned your brain in making you understand and making you believe that you cannot live that situation. And if you get out of that situation, it's going to be worse than what it is.
If you just sit and hope that it will go away, which is what most people do, by the time they do make a decision, usually, they've been so damaged that they themselves would need help. Very few people will go for help, which is unfortunate. Again, the question of stigma comes in. It is a shameful thing, so you want to treat it privately.
The way all of us treat violence in the home. As I said in the beginning, it is treated such that it is a secret. It has a culture of silence around it. It's something that you don't talk about.
People are more ready, let's say women are readier to report a situation if the person is unknown or if the relationship is soured anyway. But once they're going involved with the other person, they tend to be protective because of that false hope that things will be okay.
But it also could be the fact that people find it very difficult to walk away from relationships that the person who is the perpetrator of violence is the main provider for their every need. They're the sole breadwinner, or they're providing for their basic necessities.
Sometimes it is not reported because according to culture and according to religion, a woman perhaps must submit to a man, and a man is the head of the house, so anything that a man does and a man says must go.
You generally get the impression that this is what society says about women.
For you to become a survivor, you need to be able to deal with the conditions that made you a victim, so that you can get out of it and say, I have survived the situation.
If women decide that they're going to take this outside the home, the consequences are great. They're really very great on her and on her family. As I say, I know of women that have been ostracized from the family, but she's taken that step.
We have so many rehabilitation programs that are geared towards somebody who is a current victim.
But because of the norms and values of our society, where it's about reconciliation, it's about negotiation, which are positive elements of any relationship, You need to negotiate, you need to reconcile, you need to see how best you can solve it. But in a case of gender-based violence, sometimes you should say enough is enough.